Hey everybody, Kirk Simpson here again from Atlanta Carnivorous Gardens. Today is October 10th, 2021. It's been a little bit less than a year since the seeds that you saw me start at the start of this course. Those were sowed in late December, so I thought I'd give a nice little update. They've been transplanted. They've got their first dose of fertilizer. I have made some mistakes throughout this, so I'll definitely talk about those, but wanted to give you guys a quick update into how the seedlings are doing. I also have some other seeds that were started a little bit earlier, but not included in those videos. And I want to show you how they're doing at about a year old. Again, it's October 10th. So my early crops from last year were started in early October. They're about a year old and they're starting to make mature pitchers. So I wanted to kind of go through those and just show you how they're doing, show kind of what you should expect by this point in the process, and how I should continue to expect these to progress, and give you some more regular updates now that they're really starting to look like young pitcher plants and you can start to see what they might look like as they mature. So I'm going to turn the camera around and I'll show you guys the actual seedlings behind me. Okay, so here is my young seedling rack where pretty much everything that was started in the year 2020 is currently being housed. On these top shelves, you'll see they're a little bit closer to the lights, and I've turned off the backlights because they are those kind of purple LEDs that make it hard to actually see the colors on the pitcher plants, so that you can see them better in this video. But normally they run and the plants really seem to like them. They color up great. But these ones are, again, the ones that you actually saw me start in late December last year. I believe the first video where I sowed these was around December 29th. So I'm going to try and get some of these in focus. At this stage in the process, these plants have gotten their first transplant. Remember, all of these crosses were started in one of these 4.5-inch pots, and now they probably each have about 4 to 5 4.5-inch pots that they've been split up into. And this is really where you start to see the growth start to explode a little bit. You can see on some of these, they are starting to make some mature traits. You can see some of these Leuco crosses here starting to show some of those white windows. You see some great veining on some of these hybrids where the parents are known for having really great coloration. But these are all generally about this size. Again, I'll just kind of show you and try and keep everything in focus. It's hard with the lights being on and off and the natural light coming in. But you can see these are definitely young adult little pitcher plants, maybe not young adult, but you know, seedlings that are starting to cross over into looking like young pitcher plants where you can see a lot more mature traits. Let me get that one in focus. Well, I'll try to. But basically, you can see they're starting to exhibit mature traits. They're starting to show, you know, white windows. They're starting to show veining, different color patterns, things like that that you're looking for as you go through the growing process and start to select. These are my Jeremiah Harris crosses right here. And again, they're enjoying their first repot. As I talked about in the previous videos, they really enjoy fresh media. So when you repot them and give them fresh soil and spread them out, and give their roots basically a lot more room, they start to explode and grow a lot quicker. As I talked about in previous videos, I waited a little too long to give them their first transplant. These would probably be significantly ahead of where they are now if I had transplanted them earlier in the process, usually somewhere around 6 months or so. But you can see there's some good purpurea crosses back there. Here's some really cool flavas. Just a nice little variety pack back here. All these seeds I got from Jeremiah Harris, a fantastic grower, fantastic account if you just like carnivorous plant content. But he also sells seeds after he harvests them in the fall of his Sarracenia collection, which is huge and extensive, and he does some really cool hybrid crosses. Here's another one. This one is a Leuco crossed with a Morii, and you can see again starting to make some adult traits. But like I said, these would be a little bit further ahead if I had transplanted them a little bit earlier, like I normally do. Just got busy this year, but now that they're transplanted, they have got their first dose of fertilizer. And I talked about that again in another video. I'm using Max C in the trays and monitoring the parts per million just to make sure that there's not too much fertilizer buildup, which can kind of stunt them a little bit. But the plants seem to be responding really well. They're growing really quickly. And again, these were started in late December. It's now early October, so somewhere between 8 and 9 months. I can't do the math on that in my head. But I do have some seeds that were started in sort of November timeframe. So they're a little bit closer to a year old. And these are seeds from Phil Felizi that I also talked about in those videos. Definitely a little bit further ahead. You can see there are definitely certain seedlings that are further ahead than others. This is where they really start to differentiate. So you'll see even within the same cross, you'll have ones that kind of make the jump really quickly and start to make mature pictures. Here's the biggest case of that. You can see this is Adrian Slack by Megamouth, and it's, you know, the biggest by far of anything in this tray. And then the siblings are right here, and they're much smaller. But that's kind of the fun of Sarracenia, is you never know which clones are going to take off and grow quick versus which take a little bit more time to come along. But eventually they all will. Here is kind of some other crosses, actually from my own seed collection. And again, if you look at this, you can see there's one really huge plant in here that's basically on the verge of becoming an adult. And then there's a bunch of other smaller ones that are the same exact seed batch, grown under the same conditions for pretty much all their life. But sometimes one of them just takes off before all the rest. Here's another good case of that, where you see a big one here with some smaller seedlings. But I'll keep this one short. For once, I'll have a video that's probably under 10 minutes. But just wanted to give you guys an update, show you kind of how things are progressing. If you started seed with me, definitely I'd love to hear about it. But hopefully you're following along with this and you're seeing similar results. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm always happy to talk with you about those. So feel free to reach out. Last thing, I'll just show you some of the 2019 ones. And I finally got these kind of repotted and cleaned up, and they're rewarding me with a nice surge of growth. Here's a really cool cross right here. It's Purpurea by Megamouth. And you can see at this phase, it's just so exciting because you start to see ones that really stand out and look cool, and which ones, you know, you definitely want to keep versus which ones, you know, you might want to trade away or just get rid of. But you can see this is where it gets really, really fun, because you have all these great Sarracenia that are going to keep growing in here all the way through the winter and go out next spring. And it's just super nice, and, you know, a cold December day to come in here and have growing and colorful plants and get a little preview of what you might get to experience the next spring. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, let me know if you have any questions. Always happy to connect. And I hope your Sarracenia seed growing is going nice. And again, if you're having any problems, I'm happy to help. But again, this is the time of year when the seeds start to go on sale, so keep an eye out. There's a number of great seed sources. I'd be happy to give you a reference if you're looking for somewhere to buy good seeds. But super fun. And you can even see I'm starting my first seeds of this season up here, and I've got a lot more in the fridge that I'm going to be starting here in a few weeks. All right. Thanks again for watching. Happy growing.